Alright, folks, today's as good a day as any, I suppose, to get the rest of these flower beds and these pots cleaned out. So, a bit breezy, a bit cool, but it's dry. So, let's get them cleaned. Might as well give the rest of a tour around the garden. There's a few bits and pieces that are getting cleaned out. So, it's going to be the likes of these side beds, tree beds. So they're not too bad, they just need dug over and slightly weeded. That's the kiwi. I'll cut that back a wee bit. That was grew from seed about 4 years ago now. Just started to climb well. And then there's an apple tree that happened to break. I'll get cleaned out. And the other apple tree from seed. It's about 4 years now. So then that's all the seeds that came from last year's plants, the candy tufts and the heartsea pansies. We'll get them weeded out so there's room for growth and topped up with fresh soil. But in fact, first I think we'll start with the flower beds. Well, that were the vegetable beds at one point. They had peas and potatoes, onions, but they're looking a bit sorry for themselves. So we'll get these all cleaned out. That was a potato bed. So we'll get them dug over, weeded. There might be a surprise going in at the end. So now that's that dug over, it's easier to pick out all the weeds. That's the time consuming bit now. But there's bits of everything in it. And there's that bed. Try to get stuff planted into once I get fresh compost in the top, but I'll only do that whenever I'm planting. There's it's starting to get a bit windy, so we'll just turn over this one, get these weeds out. This one did just have potatoes, so I'm expecting to find a few extra ones sitting in here somewhere. Just don't want them back in here this year, so we'll try and get them all out if we can. And now, that's a potato bed. Well, the old potato bed cleaned. Don't know what I'm going to put in it this year. Well, in fact, I have an idea. But I'll keep that for later. Now, let's get to the strawberries. This is the one where the wee suckers came from mostly. So, there's a few more actually. And get replanted. So we'll cut them and save them for another time. So that's a bit cleaner now. I'll tidy them up properly whenever they're getting repotted. And I'll let these other two wee suckers soak in the greenhouse in some water before I repot them. So this is one I haven't been too sure about, but it's a few years old now. It hasn't been cut back properly, and it's just grown out of control. And I think I'm just gonna take a shears to it. So for the best. Hope it grows back. Bear in mind, if anyone is watching this and knows about honeysuckle, they're probably saying, "No, not now, not now." It is only the first of February, so we'll see. Well, It's had a bit of a trim, bit of a haircut. Said to leave the ones with all the nice leaves on, so there might be a bit of life still left in it at some point. Now let's get the pot cleaned. Let's hope this bad boy goes back. It does need repotted at some point, but we'll see. Now I think I'll get this apple tree, the bigger apple tree that was grown from seed, weeded first because it's going to get dark pretty soon. I have the outdoor light on at the minute, so let's get this one cleaned out. This is the one that had all the seeds in it, all the flowers, the heartseed pansies, and the candy tufts. But it seems to be all the heartseed pansies that have come back, so I might actually dig them out and put them around the field, around the corner from me. I'll get these dug out, and then I'll get that last thing planted. Well, I've taken out that blanket of heartsease. I'm calling it a blanket. At least just take them, put them somewhere, just let them grow elsewhere. I have nowhere for them, so I'll take them around to the field and I can put them there. But left a lot of roots exposed in the apple tree. We'll top that up with compost. Let's go and get that. Nice and fresh. That's a bit better. Hopefully in a couple of years' time, she'll start to fruit. Now, before I forget and before it gets too dark, the surprise that I mentioned that will be getting planted in the old vegetable bed, one of them is going to be the first time I am growing rhubarb. And from what I've read with rhubarb is you can bolt it, but that's with a well-established plant. So I guess after the second cycle, it's good to harvest. So just nothing from the first one, a few from the second, and then once it hits the third, it's ready to harvest properly. So I'll get this little bad boy planted. It's been soaking for a good while now. We'll see how that goes. So this year, instead of peas, onions, and carrots, there'll be a rhubarb going in here for an experiment. So nice deep hole of fresh compost. And then helps me remember the water can. Just to make sure that the roots are nice and moist. Stick that in there. Bring that down. Get you covered up. And because where we are in Northern Ireland, I'm sure February isn't the last of the cold spell. So, what other things can you do? Well, all I'm doing is using a plastic bottle. And hopefully, that buried in there, a good bit of soil in the bottle, I should be safe. Just like that. So that's a few bits and pieces finished now for the outside. More to do tomorrow. Hopefully the longer days will start coming in so I can do a wee bit more after work so I'm not rushed so much at the weekends. But as I say, there's always more to do in the garden.